हाँ सर, आप लाइव है सर।
Ah, all right. So, so hope all of you can hear me. So I just see three people who are watching. Uh, yeah. So again, just welcome whosoever is watching this live feed, and we can take some questions if you have any. Yeah. And I just have one question which I got as a request earlier on. So maybe I'll try to answer that also. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, then maybe you can just type them, and then I'll try to answer this. All right. So probably what I'll do is I'll try to answer one of the question which I got in the request sheet. So this question is by Shahriar Hussain. So I'm not sure if Shahriar is live right now. And then he asked two, three different points within one question. So basically, what he was asking is that he tried to apply some of the methods we discussed in class, let's say ARIMA, SARIMA, or the error correction model, or ECM in short, to some real data sets, so let's say gold and silver prices, but none of them seem to perform well. So just to answer this question, I mean this is very much bound to happen because what happens is, I mean, all these gold prices, silver prices, let's say any sort of a stock price or crude oil prices, or so all these stock prices in general are kind of non-stationary and highly volatile. All right, so I think implying or rather applying some simple models like ARIMA, SARIMA won't do a good job. Because what happens is, at the end of the day, Arima Sarima cater to linearity more, right? But if you have extremely non-linear behavior and then lots of ups and downs, lots of fluctuations, right? Then you'd want to move on to some non-linear time series models per se. All right. So again, so Arima, Sarima, AR, MA, all these models, we try to introduce them in the very beginning, so as to one can make a link of those and try to approach the non-linearity aspect in that sense. Okay. So this is one point. And the second point was he tried applying the ECM model, or rather the error correction model, and some Johansson co-integration tests and so on and so forth, and again some real data containing US inflation rates and Fed funds rate. Okay. And then the results were significant, but he did not achieve any good results. So again, the same thing. So I mean, you have to be very, very specific when it comes to applying all these models on real data. Okay, so again, like I said, I mean, so these models are highly concentrated and then they cater to only very niche properties per se. So ECM again is used to kind of capture the co-integration, right? And co-integration practically you have lots and lots of applications. Let's say pairs trading, or probably the application you are mentioning about inflation rates and federal funds rate also fits in the category. But it's just that you have to adjust the time frame accordingly, so that the co-integration exists firstly, right? And if at all the co-integration exists, then probably you can apply some version of ECM and then proceed in that sense. Okay. Otherwise, if you talk about any linear structure or let's say non-linear structure, and if you're applying the exactly opposite kind of a model, right, then obviously the results won't be decent. Okay. So I mean, hence, I think I did mention in my one of the lectures also that so far nobody has been able to kind of predict, let's say, stock prices or some highly non-linear kind of behaviors very accurate. And this is one of the reasons that even though you apply any sorts of, let's say, combinations of non-linear models and linear models and stuff like that, but then at the end of the day, the results are not very decent because they're trying to capture the very concentrated kind of a framework there. Okay. Uh, yeah, and then I think if Shariar, yeah, hi Shariar. So hopefully I've tried to answer the first couple of questions, and then third one is more like a suggestion. So he's asking that whether I can float some other courses on, let's say, inferential stats or stochastic process. Yeah, so the answer is yes. So these plans are kind of ongoing. All right. So probably next time I might float a course or two, which is, let's say, basic statistics or something similar. All right. And again, just a suggestion that you can always email me, and then if you want any other information per se or something like that. Also. Okay. Yeah. So, any other questions at all? And again, now I think all of you should be almost done with the material, right? I mean, if I'm not wrong, you should have entered the last week or just week before that, right? So it's almost done for all of you. So then you should start preparing for the final exam if you're enrolled into that and so on. Okay. Uh, and especially the last week is kind of entirely different in the way that I've tried to combine some ML ideas and then time series ideas and so on. Yeah. So anybody else who has a question or comments, suggestions, anything is okay. So this is one of my first courses on NPTEL. So hopefully, if you give me some feedback or maybe some suggestions down the line, then probably it'll be better for me also. Yeah. So there's one more question by Shariar. So another question is that I tried ML models also to forecast stock commodity prices, but all I get is a naive forecast, which is essentially the past values of the series itself. Any suggestion? Yeah. So probably one suggestion could be you can try and check for some hybrid models. So I mean, I'm not sure if you studied hybrid models, but hybrid models are a combination of, let's say, some time series structure plus some ML structure. All right. So hybrid models may not be entirely based on neural networks. They are a combination of some statistical aspect and then plus some black box kind of a model. So probably these kind of models would be slightly better than just applying some entirely black box kind of a model or entirely ARIMA based or SARIMA based. Okay. So Dr. Shivaraja is asking what is the examination format? Yeah, so you'll only have MCQs. Okay, so the final exam is entirely based on MCQs, and then of course it covers the entire what do you call all the sessions kind of. Okay, but you don't have to answer anything in detail. So you just have to uh, correct. I mean, pick the correct option, and then that should be okay. And just to add to Shariar's point, I mean, people have been doing some really good forecasting when you, let's say, go a little deeper into either ML or deep learning kind of models and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what ML models you've tried upon, but just try to extend that one level up. So, I mean, probably move to deep learning. Deep learning, we already covered neural networks. I gave you a kind of a very brief overview of neural networks in the last week, right? So maybe try to implement that, maybe try for some hybrid models and so on and so forth. And again, you have to play around with the stocks also. I mean, don't just stick to one stock or one commodity. I mean, if things are not working for one stock, they might work for some other stock, right? Or maybe try to work on some index, so Nifty or Sensex or something like that. Yeah, so I've tried tree-based models, LSTMs. Yeah, so LSTMs have some merit, but again, like I said, try for some hybrid models. So maybe they would be slightly better, right? And these days, people are kind of applying really advanced kind of deep learning techniques. I mean, Facebook profit models and DQN and then DDQN. So all these are kind of slightly more advanced models you can try. Yeah, again, remember one thing that if you're applying a certain model as a LSTM, so LSTM has a tendency of preserving the memory, right? So if the data set itself is not doing that, I mean, if it's not kind of preserving the long-term memory, etc., then obviously LSTM won't work, right? So the sanity check has to be done initially that whether the sample itself follows that structure or not. Yeah. Anything else at all? Yeah. So again, a point by Shariar. So I want to dive deeper into stats. Can you recommend some books? Yeah. So I think even I'm not sure if you were there in the last live session where I had shared my email ID, or you can find my email ID on my webpage. So just send me a short email. I try to share some books for you. Okay. Any other questions? So maybe you can ask anything that you want, basically. So let's say preparing towards the final exam, or maybe some concepts, or uh, something like that. Yeah, thanks, Sharia, for nice comments. Yeah, again, all these live sessions are meant to answer your question. So you need not worry if you think your question would be the kind of on the easier side or funnier side, something like that. So don't worry about that. So if you want to ask anything, like I said, feel free. Okay. Yeah, Shambhay and Stouffer would suffice, yes. Yeah. But of course that last week may not be there, right? That machine learning aspect may not be there. But yeah, so apart from that, I think it should be okay. And again, follow my notes. That should be more than enough. rather than reading the book page by page or something like that. I mean, of course, you can read the book for more information, but again, reading the notes would also suffice. Any other questions or queries or concerns? Yeah, so I think if not, maybe you can close it in 5 minutes or something. Okay? Yeah, again, just to reiterate one last time is that even if you follow the notes diligently, it should be okay for the exam. Okay? So let's say if somebody is not present right now, but he or she was present earlier in the live session, so I'll just keep this comment there. Okay. Yeah. So to all the people who are joining right now, just couple of them, I think. So any questions or comments? What are your research areas? So yeah, so again, time series is one major area, and again, applications to finance. So let's say trading strategies and then portfolio optimization, non-linear time series. So all these. And again, like I said, hybrid model. So time series along with ML models. And apart from that, my PhD was in sampling. So sequential sampling is an area in stats. So how do you optimize the sample size and so on and so forth. But apart from that, I'm more inclined towards applied empirical work. So statistical ecology or environmental sciences. So some applications of stats in environmental climate studies. And more from a theoretical point of view, I'm interested in, let's say, censoring problems or, you know, these kind of areas. Okay, so I think we'll close it now. So if there are no more questions, maybe I just wait for 1 minute. If somebody wants to ask anything, like I said, about the exam or topics or other areas, or, so we can discuss basically. Okay, so maybe we close it down. And again, just to end it here, you're always free to email me, right? So you can get my email on my webpage. So just do a quick Google search, and then you will see my webpage, and then all the details are there. Right? Okay. So send me a short email if you want any extra information or access to some material. Material means some extra books or something like that, and that we can discuss. All right. So I think we'll close it down. And again, all the very best for the exam.